In number 21, فكرة number 21 إنه it will help you. Wait a minute. Okay. It will help you to understand validity better, to calculate the pH of solutions at different times. Okay. So for example, we already did number 20. 20 is basically the pH of a diacid. What happens if can you neglect the second acidity? How do you find the pH in the first one, the pH of the second one? If you remember when we did in the pre-recorded session, part 1, بيمعنا إنه 2 lesser equal to 2, then the pH is 2. So this is the correct pH. The pH is 2. For the second one, when you try the same method, هتلاحظوا إنه the concentration is not enough to prove validity. So in the second one, you go to the quadratic, okay? In number 21, calculate the concentration of the present species and the pH of the solutions. All you have to do in every part is calculate the concentration of your species, whatever it is that you have, and the pH. First thing that you ask, look at the given. What you have in your given, is it strong? Is it weak? Is it an acid? Is it a base? Is it a mixture of acids and bases? Is it diacid? Is it a di-base? Just recognize what you have. In number 1, we have an HCl solution at 10 to the negative 4. That's it. That's it. هكتب number 1 هون لأنه it's very easy. I have that the concentration of HCl is equal 10 to the negative 4. Remember the validity, instead of just finding كل السبيشيز اللي موجودين هون, remember the validity. For a strong acid, if the concentration of the acid in solution, انتبهوا إنه no change in volume took place. If you have a change of volume, I have to find the new concentration in this new volume by dilution. تذكروا CAVA equals CBVB or multiply by the dilution factor. Okay, so concentration of HCl in solution is equal to 10 to the negative 4. Very easy. This is greater than 3.2 times 10 to the negative 7. تتذكروا النمبرز عندكم is it sufficiently concentrated يعني greater than 3.2 times 10 to the negative 7. Is it sufficiently dilute يعني less than 10 to the negative 8. Is it between? In this case, it's sufficiently diluted. That means pH is equal to negative log H3O plus اللي هي نفس زيتا C. Negative log C. It's very clear إنه ال H3O plus is the same as C in this case, which is negative log 10 to the negative 4. And all you have to do is find the answer. Negative 10 to the negative 4 is basically 4. pH. That's it. Okay. Then go to number 2. بكل بساطة الفاليديتي. إذا بتلاحظوا ما عملت شيء من الديريفيشن. You have acetic acid that has a concentration of 10 to the negative 2 and the pKa is given. As long as I have my pKa, I know that this is a weak acid. طلع. It's an acid. And you have the pKa, so it is a weak acid. How did we know that no change in volume occurs? Because they didn't say that they put X milliliters of volume. ما غيروا الvolume. So number part 2. Let's go here. Okay, this is 20. I think was it 20 or 21? It's 21, 2. In 21, 2, you have acetic acid. Okay, you have acetic acid, which is CH3COOH. And the concentration of acetic acid is, I think, 10 to the negative 2. خليني افتح بس. 10 to the negative 2, yes. And the pKa, عم بكتب هوني أنا أكيد الجيفن كله أنتوا you don't have to waste time with writing this given, okay? 4.75. Weak acid, concentrated, start with the first validity. Okay, that tells you the pH is equal to half pKa minus half log C, which is 10 to the negative 2. Again, ما اتغيرت concentration because you didn't change the volume. Is it less or equal than pKa minus 1? يعني it's half of 4.75. هذا كلياته بضيع الوقت. Okay, so you have to be faster. Minus half log 10 to the negative 2, he basically 2, less or equal than 4.75 minus 1. What is the answer? Hon, 3.375. Thank you, Ala. 3.375. Is it less or equal than 3.75? Valid? Yes, this is the pH. Very easy. With a few lines نقدر نجيب الجواب. Okay. They asked for the concentration. اتفقنا. خلينا نجيب ال concentration of all the species that you have in your solution بهيدا الكيس. Pay attention because this might be asked a lot, but it's always the same process, so we don't repeat it. To find the concentrations, I don't know if they ask for all the species, but this is what we're going to do. Of all species in solution, the first thing that you have to do is identify what the species are. منطق. In the solution أنا عندي CH3COOH. I have تتذكروا derivation when we wrote the relationships. I have أكيد CH3COO minus. I have H3O plus and the HO minus. I don't need the concentration of H2O. ما تضيعوا وتفوتوا بالمتاهات. Okay, so what is the relationship that governs all of these? Remember, CH3, you don't have to write them. All you have to do is just think about them. CH3COO minus plus H3O plus. This is the relationship that combines all of them. And you already know, in at equilibrium, C minus X, X, X. True? CH3, what is the concentration of CH3COO minus? It's the same as the concentration of H3O plus, لأنه they are both X's. How do I find the concentration of H3O plus? It's 10 to the negative pH. Very easy. 10 to the negative 3.375. This is the concentration of H3O plus and CH3CO minus is this one. You have one species, two species left. The easiest one, who is CH3COH, which is basically C minus X. Remember, what is C? Original, 10 to the negative 2, minus what is X? نفس زيتا. 10 to the negative 3.375. And this is the concentration of CH3COH. You have one more, which is HO minus. You have a lot of ways to find HO minus. And you know a relationship that says H3O plus times HO minus has to satisfy KW اللي هي 10 to the negative 14. And you already know it. So all you have to do is say that HO minus is equal 10 to the negative 14 divided by 10 to the negative 3.375. Or, very simply, 10 to the power pH minus 14. Very simply, and this is the easiest one. اللي هي 10 to the power 3.375 minus 14. Look, it's the same thing. نفس الشيء. This one and this one. And you find the concentration of all species in your solution. كلهم نفس الشيء. Okay, all species will behave the same way. Good. Let's go to number 3. Part 3, not number 3. In part 3 you have SO2. هون في فكرة صغيرة شوي جديدة انتبهوا لها. SO2 that has a concentration of 10 to the negative 1 mole per liter, you have its pKa1 and pKa2. SO2 is basically something that can dissolve in water to give you H2SO3. Memorize that. It's the same as CO2. When CO2 dissolves in H2O, it will give you H2CO3. So هيدول الاثنين, when they dissolve in water, they give you this formula. So let's take it. You have in your solution H2SO3. You don't have SO2. SO2 cannot exist. And when it goes to dissolve in water, this is what you have. Okay? H2SO3. هون واضح إنه this is diprotic. True or not? And in case ما انتبهتوا إنه diprotic, رجعوا على الgiven. الgiven states that you have a pKa1 which is 1.9 and the pKa2 which is 7, I think, 0.1 or 2. From the pKa's, you know that this is diprotic. Okay, عرفنا إنه diprotic, write the reactions. You don't have to, it wastes time, but I have to write the reactions بحال حدا عم بضيع فيهم. So H2SO3 plus H2O will give you HSO3 minus and H3O plus. This is the pKa1. pKa2 is HSO3 minus. Continue the reaction where it left off with H2O to give you SO3 2 minus and H3O plus. هذا الداتا, هذا الgiven. Okay, you already know إنه when you have a diprotic acid, either compare the Ka or the pKa. If pKa is given, just use pKa. As long as فينا نكتبها بكتير خليني أقول كتير methods. في هون condition. Okay, as long as Ka1 is greater than 100 Ka2 or pKa2 تبعد عن pKa1 ب a factor of at least 2. Okay, so pKa2 is greater than pKa1 plus 2 أو pKa1 بدها تكون أصغر من pKa2 minus 2. Same thing. Same thing. pKa2 minus 2 يعني pKa1 بدها تكون أصغر من pKa minus 2. Same thing. If there is a difference, all you have to know, if there is a difference between pKa1 and pKa2, هذا difference is at least 2, cancel the second acidity. Cancel it. For you, it doesn't exist. An approximation. It does not mean إنه السبيشيز اللي موجودين بالsecond acidity مش موجودين بالsolution. No, the species do exist in your solution. If you need their concentration, you can find them. But for the calculation of pH, they can be neglected. Remember that. When you calculate the pH, you can neglect the second acidity. مشان هيك بنقول neglect the second acidity for the calculation of the pH. But when you have to calculate the species like SO3 2 minus, yes, it does exist. Yes, you do have to calculate it. Let's start with the pH. Okay, so let's start with the pH. The pH is equal to half. We cancel the second acidity. We're working only with the first to find pH. Half pKa1 minus half log C. كلنا نعرف what C is. If it's less or equal than pKa1 minus 1. Yalla go. What is half 1.9 minus half log, what was it, 0.1 less or equal pKa1 اللي هي 1. هو بتطلع أكيد مش valid. What is the value? What do you get? 1.45. Thank you. 1.45 less or equal than 0.9. Not valid. The first validity is not valid. What do? Go to quadratic. Very quickly, you go to quadratic, okay? خلينا نجيب هيدي لهون. So, let's continue with part 3. Quadratic says that H3O plus squared plus first acidity, so Ka1 H3O plus minus Ka1 times C equals to 0. يلا H3O plus is your X, it's unknown. Ka1 هي 10 to the negative pKa1 قديش كانت 1.9. Ka1 10 to the negative 1.9. C 0.1. Solve the quadratic. What is H3O plus? Go. Find it. I'll calculate it. 0.02974. What is the pH now? Negative log 0.02974. لاحظوا the difference between it and between the pH اللي باين قبل شوي. 1.52. In the previous one, you get 1.45. You have to be very careful because the difference is that small. Yes. Okay? The concentration of H3O plus is the same in both reactions. Yes, because you study the system using the pKa with Ka اللي هي value at equilibrium. You're studying the system always at equilibrium. Okay, so it has the same value and it's an approximated value. Now, let's find the species. أول شيء خلينا نفكر what are the species. I have H2SO3 اللي هي basically C minus X. Remember that. I have HSO3 minus اللي هي X, which is the same as mean as H3O plus. We approximated, which is equal to 0.02974 molar. And this is equal to 0.1 minus 0.02974. What do you get? Yeah, it's 0.03. So it's basically approximately equal to 0.07. Okay, check the real number. This is not the real number. Okay, so what else do I have? I still have two more species. I still have two more. Okay, 0.07026. Thank you. I still have two more species اللي هن ال HO minus. ليش كتبت ال HO minus بالأول? It's the easiest one to find, which is 10 to the power repeated pH اللي هي 1.52 minus pKw, which is 14. This is HO minus. What you have left is SO3 2 minus. What is SO3 2 minus? What relationship do I know that combines ال SO3 2 minus مع species موجودة عندي أنا هون؟ Bravo, Ka2. So in fact, I know that Ka2 is equal to SO3 2 minus times H3O plus divided by HSO3 minus. And normally, when we approximate by canceling the second acidity, this is always true. Okay? And if you look at it, the value of H3O plus is the same as the value of HSO3 minus. So these two cancel. It means that SO3 2 minus is equal to Ka2, which is 10 to the power negative 7.2. See why it's neglected? See why it's neglected. Part 4. Let's go to 4. In 4, We have H3PO4 at 10 to the negative 1. Look, it has pK1, pK2, pK3. Find the pH and all the species in your solution. Again, let's find the pH and all the species. It's the same thing. أكيد وكله at equilibrium because you're basically working with the KAs and PKAs هيدول at equilibrium. If you're not at equilibrium, it's Q. وانتم ما بتشتغلوا بالQ. Number 4. Again, I will write the relationships. You don't have to. Okay? So, relationships هي H3PO4 plus, I'm not going to write H2O, that's to save time, okay? H2PO4 minus plus H3O plus pKa1. H2, pick up where you left off. PO4 minus, again, plus H2O. HPO4, 2 minus, again, plus H3O plus pKa2. HPO, let's raise it. 4, 2 minus plus H3O plus PO4 3 minus plus H3O plus كانت أكيد with H2O not H3O plus pKa3. Now these are always given, I think it's always given like the same thing, okay? The pKa1 هي تقريبا دايما around 2.1 because that's the true pKa. I think they give the second as either 7.2 or 7.1. It depends, follow the given that you have, and this is 12.1 or 12.2. Okay, these are the pKa's. Now look, is there a difference of 2 between pKa1 and pKa2? Yes, as long as that difference exists, cancel the second acidity. And if you cancel the second acidity without any doubt, cancel the third acidity. Without any doubt. You treat this as if it's a mono acid. So, كيف نبلش؟ The pH is equal to half pKa1 minus half log, يلا جيبوا لي pH دغري. Log C, if it's less or equal than pKa1 minus 1. Okay, so what is the pH? 1.55, thank you. Is it less or equal than 2.1 minus 1 اللي هي 1.1? The concentration is not enough. Is it less or equal? انتبهوا. The concentration is not enough هون for the validity to be true, so it's not valid. What do? Move directly to the quadratic. Move to quadratic. يلا مش هنكتب الكوادراتيك كل شوي لأنه we already wrote it هون. هيدي هي الكوادراتيك. Find ال H3O plus from this quadratic. أكيد ما تنسوا اللي بيختلف هي ال Ka. ال Ka صارت 10 to the negative 2.1 والconcentration. So find the H3O plus from the quadratic. Go. What is it? .0245. Thank you so much. 0.0245 molar. This H3O plus from the quadratic. So the pH اللي هي negative log H3O plus is basically what? 1.6. طلعوا الفرق بينه وبين اللي كانت بأول validity. Be careful with validities. So this is your pH. And H3O plus. Very good. Find all the species in your solution, and this هيدي الفاليو اللي قدامكم اللي هي ال H3O plus. This is the only thing that you need to find the value in all your species. The only thing. Let's see. What are the species? بنبلش H3PO4. We'll take it step by step. H2PO4 minus. Just because you neglect the second and the third acidity does not mean and these do not exist. HPO4 2 minus, PO4 3 minus, continue. H3O plus, HO minus. First, go to the easiest one that you can find. The easiest one that you can find is H3O plus. You already know that from the first acidity, this is X, while H3O plus is X. So H2PO4 minus is equal to H3O plus and equal to 0.0245 molar. هدول أول اثنين. The second easiest one to find is what? Second easiest one. And the HPO4 2 minus and the PO4 3 minus. Honey, I will give you a method to find all of them. To find all of them. To find all of them, follow KAs. As long as you have to, the KA عادة بيكون فيها 3 unknowns. As long as you have to, you can find the rest. What do I mean? This is how I'm going to find them. I'm going to find something using KA1, something using KA2, and another using KA3. Okay? Very easy. Using KA1, the KA1 بتساوي H2PO4 minus times H3O plus divided by H3PO4. You have the KA1 هنكتبها هون هي 10 to the negative 2.1. You have the H3O plus, what was it? 0.0245. You have the H2PO4 minus كمان 0.0245, same 0.0245. You find what? The H3PO4. Okay, or you can find it from C minus X. أنا عم بعطيكم in all the possible خليني أقول choices. Okay, so H3PO4 أكيد concentration is equal to what now? إذا هي 0.1 minus 0.0245, that's basically 0.0745 or 755. You can find it using Ka1 and you can find it C minus X. The remaining two, you have to find them using Ka2 and Ka3. So what is Ka2? It is HPO4 2 minus times H3O plus divided by H2PO4 minus. Pay attention إنه هيدول التو equal لبعض. So HPO4 2 minus is equal to Ka2. لاحظتوا? When you neglect the second acidity, the second one is equal to Ka2, which is 10 to the negative 7.2. Good. Go to Ka3 اللي هي ال PO4 3 minus H3O plus divided by HPO4 2 minus. PO4 3 minus will be the least one in your system. أصغر وحدة. H3O plus is 0.0245. HPO4 2 minus هي 10 to the negative 7.2. The Ka3 is 10 to the negative 12.1. Find PO4 3 minus. يلا find it. It will be the smallest one. Okay, 0.05. Hold on. 0.45. Yes, 45 times 10 to the negative 18 molar. And you found all the species present from H3O plus. Okay. وباي the way, the same question can be asked بهذه الطريقة. The same question can be asked بهذه الطريقة. Find all the species present in your solution when the pH is 1.6. بس. Find all the species present in your solution that contains phosphoric acid when the pH is equal to 1.6. Because when we go back to the questions, look at the question that we didn't solve yet لأنه أنا بدي predominance domain. Number 10, phosphoric acid solution. Find all the species present when your pH is equal to 9.5. ما حكينا بعد how you can change the pH from تنقول 1 to something else. هيدا نحكيه بالtitration. But find all the species present when your pH is 9.5. That's the same thing. All we have to do now is related to the predominance domain. That's it. So, part 4. Part 5. You have H2SO4. هلا هيدا special case, so pay attention. H2SO4, knowing that the pK is 2. What does that mean? This is a special case, okay? This is a special case. Part 5, it's H2SO4. You have only one pKa given, but طلعوا عليها it is diprotic. وكتير واضح إنه هي diprotic. So what's happening هون? So part 5, H2SO4, which is a diprotic, but it has only one pKa given. This tells you that one of the protics is strong and one is weak. Now you think, which one do you think is strong and which one do you think is weak? So basically you have H2SO4 and you have HSO4 minus. The first is always stronger. If you have a diprotic acid that has one weak acidity, اعرفوا دايما إنه أول acidity is the strong والتاني is the weak. So in fact, because you have a pKa for the second one and no pKa for the first one, this is what happens. Plus H2O. انتبهتوا? Let's see if it appears دغري on your screen. Yes. انتبهتوا؟ HSO4 minus plus H3O plus. This has no pKa because the reaction is complete. HSO4 minus plus H2O, SO4 2 minus plus H3O plus. This has a pKa of 2. So what you do here is that you separate this question into something that you already know, which is basically you're studying the case of a strong acid combined with a weak acid. مع انه جايين من نفس السورس, you basically study it as if it's a strong acid and a weak acid. What does that mean? If the first one is the strong acid, if the first one is basically the strong acid, it means initially هكتبها بالعكس للتable بس this time. Initially and at the end. Initially كان عندكم 0.01 molar of H2SO4 and the rest is nothing. At the end, because it's a complete reaction, the definition of a complete reaction is that reactants are completely consumed and products are produced. Okay? You get this, مش هحطها 0, is approximately equal to 0. There's always a small, حتى لو كانت strong, there's always a small percentage that you have something remaining. Okay? This is 0.01. This is 0.01. انتبهوا إنه كلهم 1 to 1 to 1. I have هكتبها هون H3O plus coming from the strong acid as 0.01. Now, this 0.01 will lose an X in the weak reaction, will gain an X, will gain an X. At equilibrium, the whole system at equilibrium will be 0.01 minus X, X, 0.01 plus X. At equilibrium, the value of H3O plus in your solution is the total value اللي هي the strong plus the H3O plus coming from the weak. Remember the condition that we studied? You have to find the value of H3O plus from the strong, the value of H3O plus from the weak, and it's their summation. That's all that we have to do. So how do we find this value? It's very easy. الريليشنشيب الوحيد اللي عندكم إياها بالسيستم هي Ka2, which is SO4 2 minus times H3O plus divided by HSO4 minus. Ka at equilibrium. This is equal to X 0.01 plus X divided by 0.01 minus X. Ka2 is what? 10 to the negative 2. Find X. That's it. Find X. You'll find X, please. Okay. وحدا بس يبعت اللينك لو سمحتوا of this meeting. Okay. So X is equal to 4.142 times 10 to the negative 3. Pay attention. Pay attention to this. You can find the pH from X. It's 1.85. Okay, but pay attention لهون الفكرة إنه ال pH is negative log H3O plus اللي هي negative log 0.01 plus 4.412 times 10 to the negative 3. ما تغلطوا هون، مش تشتغلوا كل الشغل لحتى بالآخر تنسوا هالستep. It's negative log of the value of H3O plus at equilibrium in the total solution. So that means you have هيدي هي ال H3O plus هيها. This is H3O plus at equilibrium. This is it. It's 0.01 plus X. Okay. You can find the value of all the remaining species. You can find the value of خلينا ناخذهم in colors. SO4 2 minus to be equal to X. هيها ال X. Okay. HSO4 minus it's 0.01 minus X. The only species that you have left is H2SO4, and you can find it if they give you the pKa of H2SO4. والpKa of H2SO4 حتكون بالنيجاتيف لأنه remember إنه anything below 0 will be strong. But since they do not give you the pKa of the first one اللي بتقولكم إنه هي strong، نحن اتفقنا إنه حنشتغل بين 0 و 14. Anything strong will be leveled to 0. مش هندرس ال pKa بالنيجاتيف. But if you do have أكيد مش أنتوا in coming levels بالsecond year or third year, if you do have the pKa in negative, you can find the value of H2SO4. For now, we don't have it. We're not responsible for the negatives. We're not going to calculate it. Okay? Why is the initial concentration of SO4 2 minus equal X, not 0? What do you mean? No. أنا هون ما قصدي أنا هون ما قصدي فيها بالinitial. هيدي منا initial. هيدي the change of the second reaction. This is the equilibrium of the solution. This is the equilibrium of the solution. Okay. This is ما في يقول the equilibrium of the second reaction لأنه the equilibrium of the second reaction is basically the equilibrium of the whole solution. بس هون أنا عم بس عم فرجيكم الفرق between equilibrium of a reaction on its own and the equilibrium of a reaction that has another reaction with it. So this is basically the equilibrium. هيدا هو equilibrium. This is what you see if you have only one weak reaction. Okay. 5. Let's go to 6. This 6, you have Na2S, Na2S at 0.1, 0.1. Okay, at 0.1 mole per liter, and you have pKa1 and pKa2. Na2S. What does that mean? What does that mean? 6. Na2S. This is what? What is Na2S? Na2S is basically a salt. True? It's a salt. No. بأني ما بعرف إنه هو diabase. I know that it's a salt. Dissolve the salt like NaCl. Just dissolve the salt. Dissolve it. When you dissolve it, this salt will release 2 parts of Na plus 1 part of S2 minus. Okay, هلا بنتبه. Na plus is a spectator. S2 minus is an active species. What is S2 minus? S2 minus, when it reacts with H2O, it will give you HS minus and HO minus. Then HS minus plus H2O will give you H2S plus HO minus. Diabase. You're right. Diabase. هلا طلعوا فيهم and tell me which is Ka1 and which is Ka2. Which is Ka1 and which is Ka2. Remember, follow the couples. Follow the couples. Which is Ka1? Which is Ka2? We have to start a new recording. Ka1 لأنه Ka1 belongs to the couple H2S HS minus. Ka2 because Ka2 belongs to the couple HS minus S2 minus. Okay, but it's a base. It's always easier to work with Kas, but for the base you have to follow the same progression. يعني أنا بدي أقول neglect the second basicity if the first basicity is greater by 100. So when you do this, you work with Kb. Kb1, Kb2. Remember, رجعوا للكورس بيعكسوا. It's Ka1 times Kb2 equal to 10 to the negative 14. There is a relationship between Kb1 and Ka2 لأنه these two have the same couples. So Kb1, Kb2. And you can find Kb1. You can find Kb2. تذكروا Kb1 is basically 10 to the negative 14 Ka1, Ka2. رجعوا للكورس. رجعوا للكورس because you have not reviewed the relationship between Kb1 and Ka2. So this is a base. In a base, the progression of reactions بيعكسوا. فلما يكون عندكم من ال H2S لل S2 minus بكون بلشوا من ال S2 minus لل H2S. So بالacid H2S هي Ka1 S2 minus هي Ka2 بالبيس لأنكم بلشتوا بالS2 minus this is now Kb1 H2S is Kb2. رجعوا للكورس، رجعوا للي شرحناهم بهدول السلايدز اللي كانوا كبار. So now you know which is Kb1, which is Kb2 بكل بساطة. It doesn't matter what it is, find the pH. The pH of a base. بعدين بنشتغل بالKb1 والKb2. خلينا نركز هلا. The pH of a base. What is your base? S2 minus. S2 minus belongs to mean to Ka2. يعني it belongs to mean to pKa2. S2 minus belongs to pKa2. Again, HS minus belongs to mean, belongs to Ka1, يعني it belongs to pKa1. هلا جيبوا ال values of pKa1 and pKa2 لهذا question. What was pKa1 and pKa2 of this question? pKa2 was 12.9. pKa1 was around what? Around 7? Okay, around 7. The question is, from these values, are they apart at least 2 so that you can neglect the second basicity? في بيناتهم مسافة 2 that allows you to neglect the second basicity? Yes. Between 12.9 and 7, you have at least 2. Neglect the second basicity. Neglect it. The pH is now equal to 7. ركزوا معي هون. Plus half. بأي قبل أنتوا عم تشتغلوا؟ بالS2 minus والHS minus. هيدول التو couples they belong to pKa1 ولا pKa2? To pKa2. So 7 plus half pKa2 plus half log C. If it's greater or equal, then pKa2 plus 1. Find the value. Find the value. What is it? 12.95. Thank you. 12.95. Is it greater or equal than 12.9 plus 1? يعني 13.9. Is this true? No. Not valid. What do you do if it's not valid? You go to quadratic. What is the quadratic in this case? خلينا نزيد بعد page. Yep. صرنا part 6 صح؟ 6 quadratic. What is the quadratic of a base that has HS minus S2 minus? The quadratic overall is HO minus squared plus KB HO minus KB times C equals to 0. الفكرة نحن عم نشتغل بأول basicity. أول basicity is S2 minus HS minus يلي عندها pKa2. منشان هيك when we did the pH according to the first validity we used pKa2. When we go to quadratic we have to use KB. Which KB now do you use? Mean corresponds to pKa2? KB1. So in the quadratic it's KB1, KB1. So find HO minus. Yalla, please find it. HO minus is basically X. C is 0.1. Just find HO minus. 0.05785 molar. كتير منيح. This is HO minus. What is the pH? Remember, if you have to find the pH from H3O plus, it's 14 plus log H3, 14 plus log HO minus. Okay, what is 14 plus log 0.05785? بتكون كتير okay 12.76. Sorry, مش molar. 12.76. This is the pH. It's very easy. If you have HO minus, what is the remaining species? What is the concentration of the remaining species? From HO minus, from pH فعليا أنا I can find أول شيء H3O plus. بلشوا. What is the value of H3O plus in your system? 10 to the negative pH اللي هي 10 to the negative 12.76. Okay, this is your H3O plus. Now let's start with the remaining species. For example, S2 minus, HS minus, etc. Okay, what is S2 minus? From the first one. S2 minus at equilibrium he is C minus X. HS minus is X. HO minus is X. مش واضح؟ في يجيب ال HS minus which is equal to HO minus and في يجيب ال S2 minus which is C minus X. طيب good. S2 minus is basically C minus X. هون ال HS minus is equal to X يلي هي ال HO minus which is 0.05785. Last to minus is 0.1 minus 0.05785, which is around what? 0.043 something. يلا حدا يجيبها please. Okay, 0.04215 molar. Very good. You have one thing that is missing. One thing, one species. Which species is that? Which species is missing? The H2S. انتبهوا علي شوي. How do you want to find H2S? You can find H2S from KB2. Yes, you can also find it from what? You can find it from what? From Ka1. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. So H2S أنا فيه استخدم Ka1 is equal to HS minus BH3O plus divided by H2S. You will find H2S. Or KB2. شو هي ال KB2? Look here. What is KB2? It's basically H2S times HO minus divided by HS minus. H2S times HO minus divided by HS minus. وضحت معكم ليش ال Ka1 is related to Kb2? You have the same species. You have the same species. Kas are related with their same couple. If you have the same couple, they are related. أنا ما في أحط إنه ال Ka1 مقابل ال Kb1 لأنه ال Ka1 this is its couple. ال Kb1 this is its couple. It's HS minus times HO minus divided by S2 minus. Can you find the relationship between Ka1 and Kb1? Does the relationship exist? And when I say a relationship, I mean a relationship بدها توديكم لنون number. So if you multiply Ka1 و Kb2 بيطلع عندكم ال Kw. if you multiply KA1 و KB1 ما بيبين عندكم relationship. ال KA1 is related to KB2. ال KB1 is related to KA2. Remember that. Okay, let's stop the recording. لأنه صار كتير كبير.